Hey guys, so today's video is an analysis of Kylie Cosmetics as a brand. I think it has shown like a great deal of like essentially influencer marketing, the rises and falls, cancellations, how that affects your sales. Like I just think it shows out. I literally almost took out my own, I can't even speak, my own eyeball. Jesus. Oh my. That was a close call. I just think it shows everything on like a very large scale. Like I think we've seen this with like Jaclyn Hill, James Charles, like we've seen it, but like we really see it with Kylie Cosmetics. And I think it shows like person marketing is what I want to call it, like marketing a brand based on who you are and like the likeness of yourself and how that can quickly backfire. That's just my little, I'm just going to talk about essentially everything to do with Kylie Cosmetics. I'm seeing that you guys are really enjoying the deep dives. I spent ages looking through everything and just trying to figure everything out. Obviously, if there's anything that I get wrong or anything that I've missed out, let me know in the comments. Say it nicely because I will cry. There's only so much one person could do, so I've tried to find everything, but let me know what you guys think and let me know any opinions about Kylie. Also, let me know in the comments what you think. If you're already aware of Kylie Cosmetics, I'm sure you can just write a comment now, but if not, wait until the end of the video and then let me know what you think Kylie could do at this point, like in this current situation. What's like the number one thing that you would think like, this is what's going to improve your brand? Like what is like the one thing that you're like, wow, like she could really do that and it would really it would encourage me to buy from her brand. Also, let me know if there are any products that you like from her, etc, etc. I'm going to try and I've bought out some of my Kylie stuff. To be fair, I used to buy Kylie when it first came out. Not first because I was broke, because I was like 14 is what I've realized from doing my research, but kind of when I was like 17ish and like started like making my own money and etc etc, I started buying Kylie Cosmetics. So a lot of that stuff has since expired, so most of that I've thrown away except for some powder products, and a few lipsticks I've managed to somehow not they're probably expired, but they just don't smell. Some of them smelled really, really bad, so I had to get rid of like 20 lipsticks. I was quite upset about it. I have all the lip liners. None of them have gone moldy. Like I've seen lip liners when they're expired and like I know what they look like, so these are not it. I have some lip glosses, also had to throw some away. Like I've kept the eyeshadow, so I'm gonna try and use as much Kylie stuff. I have some new and some old. It will be all in the description. Those are affiliate links. I am making a percentage. If that bothers you, just open in a new tab and look for it. Also like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell. I have other channels as well. I have a podcast where I do like longer stories about what's going on in life, internet, vibes, and I also have a co-host. I also have a main channel where I mainly do like commentary, but different commentary. That is gonna get rebranded at some point. And then I have a book channel. So I'm just popping in to say that my favorite deodorant brand of all time, Wild, is sponsoring today's video. I'm so happy that they're helping out with creating these videos. They're super long deep dives, so any help helps. So if you guys want some really nice deodorant, listen up. So I actually tried many different natural deodorants and all of them had some kind of like, yeah, this is good, but like if this was changed, it'd be amazing. And I think Wild really came in and like did everything for me, from packaging to like changing the refills to scents to the way it feels, to delivery. Like I just feel like Wild does everything well for me personally. I have very sensitive skin, so I can't use regular deodorants. If I use one for a week, maybe I start getting really dry patches all over my armpits. It's TMI, but I need you guys to hear this. Wild does not give me that issue. It's creamy, it's nourishing, it's fantastic. It just makes my armpits feel really good. They're also launching the passion fruit martini new scent, which is one of my favorite scents they've ever released. Honestly, it's amazing. I thought that the last one, the elderflower and cucumber scent, was amazing, but this one I think beats it. I love anything passion fruit, so it's actually amazing. I have it in my case right now and it's just my favorite scent that they've done probably to this day. But from their regular line of scents, I think coconut and vanilla is amazing. And apparently their bestseller is jasmine and mandarin blossom, if you guys wanted to know what other people are buying. They also have this wild array of colors for their cases. The cases are metal. I love that you don't have to throw the case out anymore. This is like a reusable forever case. You can even get it engraved for an extra cost. My one says Angelika on it. You can get different colors of this. This is your forever case. This is, you buy this once and that's it. And then you just buy the refills which go inside there. This is so easy to change out as well. You unscrew this, you pop it out, you put in a new case, you slap it back in and it's good to go. Wild has over 9,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, averaging 4.7, which is rated as excellent. It's super lightweight and smooth on your armpits. It smells amazing. You can literally smell it during the day, but not in like an obnoxious way, in like a wow, I smell really fresh today way. If you have even more sensitive skin than me, because this doesn't irritate me at all. They also have a sensitive skin version, which is free from bicarbonate of soda. So you can try that one. It's available in 3 cents. The case is £7. Engraving costs £5 and refills are £5 each, but they last up to 3 months and you can save 20% off with my code Angelika Wild. So that's 20% off with Angelika Wild at checkout. You can also use my link in description to get 20% off Wild if you want. Kylie Cosmetics was actually founded in 2014, which when I was doing my research, for some reason, I thought Kylie Cosmetics was like founded in like maybe 2016 for some reason. But that doesn't make sense because like timeline wise, 2016 was like the height of makeup, and I feel like Kylie came in like right before the height of makeup, like as makeup was gaining its hype. That's when Kylie came in, right? So yeah, that makes sense. I feel like all of my teen years have just kind of blended into like one. Like if you ask me like, oh, what happened when you were 14? What happened when you were 15, 16? I'm like, I have no idea. It all just seems to have blended into just like one event, you know? So it did start when I was 14, in 2014. I was born in 2000. So I definitely could not afford Kylie in 2014. So I didn't try anything. That's the tea on that. I was just watching people review and get their products, and I was so jealous of like the box that said Kylie on it. It had like the drippy lip gloss. Oh, I was all here for it. Should I zoom in? I'm gonna zoom in. If you wanted a no, here's a yes. So it was originally actually called Lip Kits by Kylie Jenner, and that was from 2014 to 2016, because originally I believe she was just gonna sell lipsticks, but I'll get into that. So she then renamed it to Kylie Cosmetics because she wanted to expand on like the makeup that she's gonna sell. Why didn't she think of this sooner? That's my only thing, is like, you're telling me you're starting a makeup line and you can't figure out that like at some point you're gonna sell more makeup than just lip kits? Now that makes me think, was this supposed to be a cash grab? Right? Like that makes me think, was this supposed to be a cash grab? Because when she first got her lip fillers, people were like, oh my God, your lips are huge. How? And she was like, oh, it's just a lip liner. And like, I just overline my lips. And people are like, okay, well, what do you use then? Because I've been using lip liner and I don't look like that. So what lip liner is it? What magical lip liner concoction is this? And there were so many rumors going around, and then it was Macwell, and then like that sold out completely. I remember Macwell was just like the one lip liner that you couldn't find because apparently it was going to give us lip filler, which it like didn't, you know? So that makes me think, did she initially start her brand because she didn't want to give all her sales to MAC and all these other brands, because she would have had to be like, okay, well, this is the lip liner that I use, right? Instead, she just started a makeup line called Lip Kits by Kylie, where she conveniently had a lip liner and a liquid lipstick that made your lips look really big if you overlined, because it was matte and it had a lip liner. So like, was this initially supposed to be a cash grab? And then she realized like, wow, like beauty makes a lot of money, makeup makes a lot of money. I think this was at like literally right at the boom of clickbait Instagram and YouTube videos being all about makeup. Like I remember makeup basically was the genre to be on YouTube if you wanted to make money. Affiliate links, PR, brand trips, like the whole thing. There was no other genre on YouTube that made quite this much money. And I think she came in right before like the big boom, right? So she was like, oh, I'm just gonna sell a few lip kits, a few lip liners, and then like all my sisters, like this brand is just gonna go to die somewhere. Because I don't know if you guys know, but the Kardashians had like 2 different makeup lines that basically would last like a year and then just go and die somewhere, you know, people don't even know about. So I'm thinking like, did Kylie just intend to sell lip kits, and then once that craze died down and people stopped caring about her lip filler, she would just stop selling makeup? But then she realized like, wow, there really is something here. And then there was the boom of makeup. She could sell PR, send PR. She could, you know, market herself on Instagram. Sorry, my throat is just doing something right now. And people would help to promote her makeup. You know, she would release collections, yada yada. So like, I'm wondering like, was this initially a cash grab and then it kind of turned into like technically not a cash grab? Does that make sense? Like, did she just not intend to sell any other makeup? Clearly, because she called it Lip Kits by Kylie Jenner. And then it's called Kylie Cosmetics. It's actually an LLC, which is a private company, so you can't buy shares, and therefore you also can't look into their financials, which is very interesting for later on. Like, you just could not, like, you can't, if a company is public, you obviously see all their earnings and their like reports. You can even for a lot of companies, you can go into their like financial court once every quarter, and then you can just like hear about what's going on in the brand, in the company, or whatever it is, you know. Obviously you can't just demand to know the financials, which is very important for a later conversation. And they only have 12 employees, and that's pretty much been the case since ages ago. I remember I looked into this a while back, and that was the case a while back, and it's still the case today. Also, Kylie is not the CEO of her company. I'm gonna actually come back to that at a later point in the video, because there's something else that kind of links to this. But Kylie is not the CEO of her company. This really shocked me. She's the founder and the chairperson, but she's not the CEO, and someone else is the CEO of the company, which makes me feel really weird. Like, wasn't she the CEO? Or is it that when she sold 51% of her shares to Coty, she kind of had to give that title up? I'm not really sure how that works. I didn't actually do a finance degree, so if anyone knows, let me know, because I'd love to know. Parent company is Coty. It was Seed Beauty in the past, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I keep on saying that, but like, it all links together. Same as ColourPop, which we will come back to. So Kylie and Chris, initially when this all started, Kylie and Chris went to Seed Beauty, who are a retailer, a producer. They just kind of make makeup and sell it on like a big scale, which a lot of people just can't do on their own, because we don't have like factories on standby. But Seed Beauty kind of has their own factories, has their own warehouses, and they kind of can make things happen quicker than you could on your own. So they did that to start Lip Kits by Kylie. And the first launch was 15,000 lip kits. So that's 15,000 lip liners and liquid lipsticks, which is the initial launch that she had. It was 3 shades essentially. Kylie Jenner funded this, apparently. So what happened was she took $250,000 that she made off Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She didn't really have many appearances, hence why the small amount of $250,000. Like, I'm assuming Kim and all the other ones made a lot more money, but because Kendall and Kylie weren't really in too many episodes, they only got paid for the ones that I'm assuming they were in, which weren't that many. So hence why the small amount of, I don't know if you can hear the sarcasm like pouring through the screen, but yeah, so she paid $250,000 to fund these 15,000 lipsticks. And Chris essentially said, like, you get to pick 3 shades because we don't want to be stuck with stock that like we can't sell. So pick 3, and those are the ones you're going to sell. I believe that the fact that she put forward $250,000 of her own money to fund the initial start of the company is why to this day she believes that she's self-made. She believes that because she was on this reality TV show, she saved up $250,000 and then funded her own brand. That makes her self-made. Now, in technicality, if we're talking about technicalities, that does make her self-made, technically. But not everyone has a family that is super famous, whose reality TV show you can just appear on every now and then and get a very nice check from, and then use that to fund your business. Like, not everyone gets that. So like, self-made is a bit weird, right? Like, it's a bit of a weird title to give yourself. So then they actually in December 2015, they started working with Shopify to help with sales because their efforts weren't enough. Like, the websites kept on crashing, the servers just weren't doing what the servers were supposed to be doing. So they started working with Shopify, who like do most brands these days. They just help with like getting the sales through, essentially. Whoa, this concealer looks so bright on camera. By February 2016, they renamed to Kylie Cosmetics and upped production to 500,000 lip kits. And by the end of 2016, their total revenue for the company was around $300 million, which is crazy. Absolute insanity. And it just goes to show that like I said, 2016 was really the boom of makeup. Like, I think 2015 to 2016 was really like the everything really came to a, you know, that's when I really started getting into makeup with like Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, which obviously I don't use Anastasia Beverly Hills anymore. I filmed a video about it. Like, that was really the modern renaissance. It really just all happened in like 2015, 2016, which makes sense that that's when she started like upping her production and really going for it and working with Shopify to make sure that she can sustain the amount of people on her website as she needs to make the sales, right? So she did some collabs. She collabed with all of her sisters, some of them more than once. She collabed with her mum on Mother's Day. They did like a momager collection. It had very lukewarm reviews, even from the people that would normally shill her brand. Like, there were some people that were just like, every collection she came out with, it was, this is beautiful, this is amazing, this is fantastic. Like, even they were like, this is a bit difficult to work with. We've seen better before. It was kind of poor reviews. 2017, she did a month-long pop-up at US Topshop stores. In September 2018, she did a collab with Jordan, her bestie, which she ended up putting on sale and then never producing again due to the cheating scandal with Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian's baby dad. That was a moment on the internet, and if you weren't there, you weren't there. Like, it was wow. And like just seeing all the makeup go on sale, I was like, this is wild. In November 2018, she partnered with Ulta, who started selling her makeup in stores, and she even released some Ulta Beauty exclusives. I actually, when I was in the States, ended up buying a lip kit that was Ulta, like literally called Ulta Beauty, and I still have the lip liner. It is, I don't know why I pointed over there, because it's right here. Yes, so this one's called Ulta Beauty. Hello. That's not gonna work. So this one's called Ulta Beauty. I don't have the liquid lipstick anymore because it actually started stinking, but the lip liner didn't. But yeah, it's just like a deeper nude essentially. And I actually went to an Ulta and I saw like the stand. And to be fair, when I went to the States, it was 2019. And by then, the stand for Kylie wasn't very big. It was just like a literal just a stand. Like, it wasn't like a full-on like shelf of stuff. It was just like a stand that you can like move around. It was like a stand on wheels. So you could tell that by then like the rain really had started to fall. Rainfall? That's not the saying. Like, she really stopped being like the go-to brand for buying makeup and selling out makeup. There are a few sold out products, but I'm assuming that's just like quantity, like that's just, it was like a clear lip gloss that sold out or something. But it wasn't as big. Like, it wasn't like you walked into Ulta and like every shelf was Kylie, every poster was Kylie. It really wasn't the case. So even then, like, I had noticed that Kylie's reign in like the makeup sphere had really started to not be there. She also, in 2019, which I actually thought was quite interesting for kind of the state of her brand, like I don't think it was kind of as big as it was at the start. She actually did a collab with Balmain, and it was used on the like runway. And I actually have the lip gloss, the lipstick, and the eyeshadow palette. Obviously the lipstick and the lip gloss I don't use anymore, purely because they're obviously expired and they stink, but I've kept them because it says Balmain on them. It's the only piece of Balmain stuff I have. Like, anything Balmain is just that. And the eyeshadow palette is still fine. So marketing was purely her King Kylie era. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is it. This is the King Kylie era. I keep on getting hair on my face from I don't know what. So as of August 2018, she was the most followed person on Snapchat, and that's really where we saw her launches first. She would post these like black and white swatches, and she would post like black and white pictures of her makeup, just so you wouldn't be able to see the shades, just as like a little teaser. And then slowly, day by day, she would show you more lip swatches, eye swatches, whatever it was, highlighter swatches, you know, the whole shebang. And that's how she would build hype around her brand. And then she would obviously post Snapchats kind of driving around in her G-Wagon, which that was another thing. She would do a lot of driving and using her phone to film Snapchats, which a lot of people called out because of the amount of times that she was like almost in a car accident. Like, even on the show, she almost got into a car accident. There's just a lot going on, and that was just the culture back then. Like, she would just drive and Snapchat all the time. Sometimes she was the passenger, but sometimes she wasn't. But she would obviously drive around, show how her makeup looks on her face, and then people wanted to look like Kylie, and therefore people would buy the makeup. That was kind of the marketing back then. Kylie Jenner now does all of that on Instagram, but just not to the same hype. Like, she just posts the same teasers on her Instagram stories and then on her Instagram feed. She obviously has this many followers. I'm not gonna say the exact number because that's it. She has the Kylie Jenner Instagram, and then Kylie Cosmetics Instagram, and now she has a Kylie Skin Instagram, a Kylie Baby Instagram, everything for her different ventures. But that's how she now promotes her makeup. It's just the same thing as Snapchat, but just on Instagram mainly. And also she has a YouTube channel just called Kylie Jenner, and it has 7.5 million subs, and she does some like get ready with me's every now and then with new collections, like she just did with her Starsy collection, that kind of a thing. That's just kind of how she promotes her makeup at this point. She's never really done any like traditional marketing until, I'm pretty sure recently she did some billboards and things like that, but pretty much to this day, it wasn't really the billboards, and it wasn't like TV ads or anything like that, really, until she got put in Ulta, and like that was really the mainstream move for her, was to be put in Ulta Beauty. Until then, it was really just social media marketing. She really was just a beauty influencer selling her makeup, but just on a really large scale. This is why I compare it to like Jaclyn Hill and James Charles, but just on a large scale. She was just an influencer. That she was posting on Snapchat, and then people would just buy her makeup. Like, that was it, but just on a really, really large scale. Now, there are some scandals to do with the brand. Now, I'm not going to talk about many, if not any of her personal scandals. I know that kind of links with the brand, but I think that's literally its own separate hour-long video on like everything that Kylie has done, and that might be a thing that I do at some point. But right now I just want to focus on like, what did Kylie Cosmetics do? Like, and I know that really she decides what Kylie Cosmetics do, so like that is really Kylie Jenner doing the scandal, but I just want to see like what reflected on Kylie Cosmetics directly, if that makes sense. When she first started selling lip glosses, they were in the same tubes as her liquid lipsticks, and instead of a doe foot, they had the amazing, sarcasm, brush applicator. If you like one of these, let me know what you like about it, because I think it's the most awful design. Like Colourpop still does it, wink wink, I'm gonna talk about Colourpop in a minute. Colourpop still does it in some of their lip glosses, where they, instead of having a doe foot, have this brush that applies like a millimeter by millimeter of lip gloss surface area to your lips. I hate it. And anyway, she sold those in like literally and something, and she did this like ad walking through a desert. It was crazy, you know, that really broke the internet at the time. I'm really being dramatic, it didn't break the internet, but like it was pretty dramatic for the times, you know, people were very excited. And people really reference this video when they talk about her King Kylie era. That was really like at the beginning of her BBLs and at the beginning of like plastic surgery, where she didn't look really the way she looks now, but she also didn't look like the way she started out. It was kind of like that in between where like people were obsessed with her. I'm also not going to talk about plastic surgeries too much because like I said, it's not really my business what she does. I just wish that her family and her would all be more transparent about the things they would get done. But that's really my only criticism. It's just be more transparent because you're setting unrealistic standards. Anyway, I'm gonna continue now. It was actually mainly Jeffree Star called her out, which is crazy to think now that like Jeffree Star was calling out anyone for any behavior, because the brushes were coming completely damaged, like all disgusting, like you couldn't really sort them out. And then she actually ended up re-releasing them with like better brushes, essentially like the bristles were like shorter, or something was done so that they would actually work the way they're supposed to work. People think that this was actually in marketing, where she would use outrage marketing to boost sales. So first she releases a bad product and that gets people to talk about it, and then she promptly apologizes, takes it back and fixes the product, and that then causes more people to want to try it. Does that make sense? Like some people thought it was just like a marketing thing. I'm not really sure. I don't really know enough about that like to make a decision right now. We have the brushes, right? So in 2017 she launched a set of 16 brushes priced at $360 because they were not synthetic, and both James Charles and Jeffree Star called her out on the prices of these brushes, with Jeffree Star going way harder than James Charles. James Charles actually then went on to being like friendly with Kylie and doing 2 collabs with her on his channel. He just ended up like spending the whole video just comparing the brushes to direct dupes from Morphe, and I bet he made a solid bank from that video, 1 from AdSense and 2 from his affiliate link with Morphe. That really happened. People were dragging her, and she then tweeted out, and that was really one of the only times that she like, not one of the only, but she doesn't tend to address scandals, like she just really doesn't. And that was really one of the only times where she had tweeted out basically being like, I'm so sorry, like I hear you, I'm trying my best to work on the pricing. Like, what do you mean you're trying your best? It's your brand. Like, you set the pricing, you know? There was also, I was gonna go back to Colourpop. Obviously Colourpop is owned by Seed Beauty, and then obviously Kylie was made by Seed Beauty essentially. And the packaging is similar, like the liquid lipsticks, they're like dimension wise, they're similar. And obviously the lip glosses ended up coming out with the same packaging, the long tube with some brushes, which is exactly how the Colourpop ones came. So then that obviously led to a lot of comparisons between Kylie and Colourpop, to the point where people were duping Kylie Cosmetics liquid lipsticks with Colourpop ones. Now, I don't actually think the formula is identical, but people are saying, you know, because it's made in the same factory, why is it that Colourpop is like a quarter of the price, you know? And just basically, there was a big conspiracy theory that it was all the same. All the eyeshadows, everything was just the same formula, but different packaging and different marketing. That's what people thought. I don't know. At the time, I wasn't trying Colourpop or Kylie, and I think since then they have both changed formulas. So I think now it's even more difficult to decide. But if you were there back then and you tried both, let me know. There were some scandals that kind of weren't her fault. So one of them being counterfeit makeup. Kylie was releasing really low supply for the amount of demand, and I think she was doing that on purpose to build hype. So as long as you always have more demand than supply, your brand's in hype. The moment that turns the other way, your brand's not in demand because you have more supply than demand, so you're always stuck with stock. So I think her idea was like, if things are constantly selling out in a minute, then that builds hype around a brand, and that makes a brand more exclusive and more wanted. But in reality, it just led to a lot of counterfeit makeup. I'm actually going to be using the Starsy eyeshadow palette, which was a Europe exclusive. America didn't get this one, by the way. I don't know why, don't ask me, but I actually think it's really cute. I think it's one of my, well, this is my favorite palette from Kylie. There's some blues, there's some purples, there's pinks, and there's some like browns. I think it's very simple, but it's my kind of colors and I really like it. I just wish that she didn't keep on doing the realistic photos. Obviously all photos are realistic, but like I wish this was maybe a drawing or some kind of form of art rather than just a picture. I don't really like the picture vibe. If you went on eBay at that time, there was nothing but counterfeit lip kits by Kylie, and people were buying them and then getting infections and having their lips glued together and just receiving fake, dangerous, not FDA or any approved products. Some people thought that they were using real Kylie because it wasn't like dangerous. Some of them were just like counterfeits, but not necessarily dangerous. But some people straight up got like burnt or had infections or had their lips glued together. There's actually a documentary on Netflix. I can't off the top of my head remember what it was called, but it was with Marlene Estelle. And I'll try and just put it up on the screen for you guys if it still exists. I watched it ages ago, and it actually included some Kylie talk about, you know, her brand. I think it's just very interesting. Yeah, just how like she built up this hype that just led people to buying fake, like counterfeits. Obviously all counterfeits are fake counterfeits. Because of the shipping and customs, she really for the longest time only had an American website, so you had to pay really large shipping, and then on top of that you would get hit with customs once it got to the UK or anywhere in Europe. Now she has a UK website with 0 customs, and she sells in Selfridges, Harrods and Boots. A lot easier now, at least in the UK, to get her makeup. At the time it really wasn't, so people were really struggling. I also haven't done the rest of my face. I don't know why I've moved straight onto eyes. Another thing, in May 2016, Kylie Cosmetics changed the packaging of orders. So the outside box would have like the lip drip on it and like the Kylie, so you could see on the outside what someone had ordered, and that was Kylie Cosmetics. And this was actually changed in May 2016 because of complaints of theft. Like that's how crazy it was at the time. People were stealing people's lipsticks because they were that much in demand. Like, yes, we can all complain about Kylie now, we really can, she's done a lot, but she like really did weird things for the beauty industry. Like it was weird to see, which makes the fall even more interesting if you ask me. This is also a Kylie product. Most of my face products now are going to be Kylie from this point onwards, so like I said, it will all be in the description. And I'm starting to add in American links again. I didn't do it for my last video because I couldn't get something to work, but it works now. I used to do this back in the day, but I'm going to do both UK Europe links and US links because I know it makes it easier for everyone, because you guys don't have some of the things that we have and we don't have some of the things you guys have. So because of that, people were literally stealing lipsticks, and Kylie had actually decided to change the packaging. So now the drip was moved to the inside of the packaging rather than on the outside, so you couldn't see what you were getting. So some people would literally order lipsticks, it would get to their house and it would be an empty box because people would take out like the contents. I think that's absolutely crazy. So yeah, she changed the packaging. That was kind of a complaint for her, but once again, like she technically wasn't at fault for the fact that people were stealing other people's makeup, but because of the supply, demand, yada yada yada, like it just all led to people doing really weird things to get their hands on the makeup. Like people were really going out of their way to like try the makeup. She also got some for her original blushes that came in like the cardboard boxes. You remember when she like had those? Because the names were quite provocative for her young audience. For example, one of them was called like X-rated or something. That one doesn't really bother me. Like I think makeup as is isn't like necessarily for children, unless it's literally children's makeup. So I just think like, I don't know. I also don't know what her audience was at the time. Like it was me, but was it anyone older? I don't even know what her audience was at the time. Now she had another scandal. That was her last scandal for the brand that we know of, and it was the overvaluation of a brand. I'm gonna try and make this quick because otherwise that would be a whole separate video in itself. But on April, I just almost choked. On April 8, 2020, Forbes named Jenner as the world's youngest self-made billionaire. Her new worth was allegedly $1.2 billion. Must be nice. Now in May, Forbes released a statement accusing Jenner of forging tax documents so she would look like she's a billionaire. They also accused her of fabricating revenue figures for Kylie Cosmetics at the time for kind of Coty, because that was around the time that Coty was buying 51% of her company. So they essentially said that at the time she was like forging things to make it look like her company was worth more than it was. And the documents were released by Coty. Like, they were documents by Coty that then Forbes looked at and were like, this is weird. So Forbes concluded that Kylie Cosmetics was way smaller and less profitable than she claimed, and she has since said that Forbes were lying, but the taxes don't lie, Kylie. So what's up with that? I remember this highlight being quite nice. My face hasn't dried yet, so I'm like tapping instead of swiping. Ooh. I remember this one has like iridescent shimmer going through it. Which is quite nice, and it's quite blinding and smooth. Her newer highlighters are quite natural and a little bit dry. I really like her blush and I like her bronzer formula, but I think her new highlighters are a little bit, like you have to apply them with your fingers instead of your brush, because otherwise they just like kind of flake everywhere. Then we actually had another scandal, which is kind of linked to this. That's why I'm kind of calling it like the same thing, but not really. It's like all separate. So Seed Beauty to Coty, that was a lawsuit. So there was a moment where the Kylie Cosmetics Instagram got completely wiped, which at that point was the most interesting thing that happened to the brand in a while, so it stirred a bit of a conversation. Angelika at 3 a.m. is quite spicy. Like, I was definitely writing this at 3 a.m. and I was like, this is really the most interesting thing that happened to Kylie Cosmetics. Like, I was pissed because I was researching it for a while. So people then found out that Coty was buying 51% of Kylie Cosmetics despite Seed being the parent company, and obviously Kylie Jenner wouldn't sell her shares, so she was kind of getting Seed out but getting herself, you know, like she was still keeping her 49% of shares, so like Seed Beauty was completely out and Coty was now in, and technically the parent company, because that's how it worked. Seed Beauty then sues King Kylie, which is the corporation. Kylie almost has her own parent company, which is King Kylie, and everything falls under King Kylie. So there's King Kylie, and then there's like Kylie Cosmetics, Kylie Baby, Kylie Skin, yada yada yada. So everything goes under King Kylie. All her money essentially goes under King Kylie. So Seed Beauty sued King Kylie and Coty because of trade secrets. Now what happened was, essentially Coty bought 51% of Kylie, and if she had kept the same formula as she had during her Seed Beauty days, Coty would then have to find out what the formula for Seed Beauty is in order to be able to replicate it and keep on selling it, which obviously Seed Beauty was like, absolutely not, because then you have the formula for everything, and if the conspiracy theory is right, then they would know what like the ColourPop formula is, etc, etc. So Seed Beauty was like, absolutely not. You're gonna make up your own formula, you're gonna pay us, and you're gonna pay us big. Kylie Cosmetics is being sued for sharing secrets such as formulas, process routines, etc. with Coty. So what does Kylie Jenner do? She, 1, settles out of court to avoid the drama, and 2, she wipes the Instagram, sells out of all stock, and starts from nothing. So she's essentially like, I'm not gonna give you guys any coin, I'm gonna sell everything out, and then I'm gonna just create a new formula. And I'm gonna make it look like I'm just like revamping my company, but in reality, I got sued and I need to change my formulas. I actually read this on Cosmetics Business, that during the negotiations of the sale, Seed Beauty is said to have asked the brand not to share sensitive information with Coty in order to boost its position in the market, but reports claim it has failed to provide sufficient assurance that it would not. And that's where the lawsuit comes in. Seed Beauty also filed a lawsuit against KKW Beauty, so Kim Kardashian's beauty line. They actually filed an injunction to block KKW Beauty from revealing trade secrets to Coty, which the conglomerate bought a 20% of stake in for $200 million on Monday, which was also said by Cosmetics Beauty. So she has now also sold out and discontinued everything, but she hasn't really restocked anything. There was also a 3-part series on the Kylie Jenner YouTube channel, which was about the Kylie Cosmetics brand, and I actually watched all of them, and I'm going to summarize it for you guys now because I think it gives a lot of insight into how the brand came to be and how it came to fall. And came to be again, but who knows. Part 1 is called The Beginning. So on the screen, it actually comes up with a little thing that says, on July 15th, 2021, Kylie Cosmetics is relaunching with all new clean and vegan products, which is around the time that obviously she got sued and wiped her whole Instagram, and then, you know the deal. So like, did she rebrand because she really wanted to rebrand and that's why she didn't mind that she was getting sued? Or did she rebrand because she got sued and she had to change her formulas to not copy Seed Beauty? Who knows? There are interviews with Kylie, Chris, and the team over 48 hours to celebrate the relaunch. I personally think that it was slight damage control because it was looking like, you know, Seed Beauty was fed up with her and it was kind of reaching the public, like the information that she was stealing all of this from Seed Beauty was like reaching the public. And I think this was slight like damage control, just basically being like, hey guys, we're relaunching because we want clean and vegan products, and not, hey guys, we're relaunching because we're being sued. Like, I think it has a nice ring to it to say you're relaunching just to improve your makeup rather than you're relaunching because you're being sued. Like, I think it's just much easier to be like, hey guys, like we just want to improve stuff for you and your enjoyment. I think it blends really well and it's not like too pigmented. Does that make sense? Like, it's just like, that's always been the way I'd describe Kylie palettes. It's just like not too pigmented, but like just workable. I love these new brushes. These are Sigma E25 blending. They sent me these like purple ones, and Sigma brushes are to die for. Stormy is actually the best bit of the series. I can't lie to you guys. She has my heart. She has my soul. So Kylie shows her office and her work life. Jen Cohan is actually her chief brand officer. She actually started in PR for celebrities and then works her way up to working with Kylie. She actually started in London and then moved to America to work with Kylie. She explains her inspiration for the brand, which was her love of makeup. She hits on the lip fill allegations, buying multiple lip liners to, you know, get the lips. The MAC well craze. She didn't want to sell out someone else's brand when she could sell her own, is my theory, but she didn't really say that, but we know that's what she meant. Kylie realized that people were super interested in her looks, mainly her makeup, and at 17 she had a meeting with her mom to talk about the company. She came up with a matching lip kit combo because that's what was missing in the collection, in her makeup collection, like a personal collection. So essentially she believed that like people just didn't have enough lipsticks and lip liners that matched, and she wanted ones that matched, and therefore that's what she created, which like is quite smart for a 17-year-old to be like, hey, if that is actually like how the story happened, and if she went to her mum and was like, hey, I don't have a matching lip liner, lip kit combo, like I want to make it, versus Seed Beauty coming to her and being like, do you want to do this? She's saying that she came up with this and they went to Seed Beauty, but it could have also been the other way around, who knows? So she had to limit herself to 3 shades in case it was a flop, and Chris asked how they would market it and Kylie said, stop, I have Snapchat. Don't talk to me about marketing, mum, when I have Snapchat. I'm gonna die. This is way too sharp. Okay, so I decided to change it into a blue eyeliner. That's it. That's my conversation. So then she launches her 3 shades and she logs on during launch to her website and it doesn't work. Like, it's just not working. And then they actually call her and say that it's because they sold out in a minute. In a minute. She sold out 15,000 lipsticks in a minute. So then she was like, oh my God, we have to order more. In part 2, it's called Disrupting the Beauty Industry. I just want to say Chris looks amazing in this. I know that they use filters and stuff, but like her outfit looks really good. I love the chain, like I love the whole thing. I think it looks really cool. Also forgot to do my eyebrows. Why is my makeup so like all over the place today? Kylie is apparently involved in every detail of everything. Like apparently she has the like final say on everything and she likes to be super involved. She's in these apparently like 8-hour-long meetings just debating on like names of lipsticks and stuff and like what everything should be called and what the shades should be. Like apparently she's super involved in her brand, which look, I like to hear, but I don't know if it's completely true, you know? So apparently Kylie is the creative, Chris is the brain, which I guess is why their relationship works so well. They fill in each other's gaps. Chris and Kylie have a very good relationship and I think that's why it works, because most family businesses cause family conflict. Trust me on that one. I would know it from personal experience. For them, it really, really works. Like for them, they just know how to work together. And I really think that's what makes them a powerhouse, really. They refer to her as the CEO. So they said, you can be a mother, but you can also be a CEO at the same time. But she's not the CEO. So I don't know why they would say that. Unless at the time of filming, she was the CEO and then she stopped being the CEO. And apparently collections are her favorite bit, like the actual curated collections, like her Grinch and the Nightmare Before Christmas, not Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think her collections were always my favorite as well. Like I didn't really care for the like core products, except for her cream lipsticks. They need to come back. I really, really like them and they all expired and I threw them away and then she rebranded and I never got any new ones. And I think they were some of the best cream lipstick formulas that I've ever tried. Thank you. Please and thank you. In part 3 is called Kylie 2.0 and they talk about the relaunch. She talks about Kylie Baby a bit, talks about how she promotes her makeup, like how she decides what to post on Instagram, how to tease it, when to release information, like how to tease stuff in a way that it causes people to talk. Like about the Kylie baby stuff, she posted a picture of Stormy and like she hinted at like Kylie baby, but without actually hinting at it. That's how she basically talks about how she builds hype around the brand. It's microdosing information without actually giving everything away, and then people have something to talk about rather than just launching something. Does that make sense? Apparently Kylie 2.0 was always the plan. I don't really know about that, because literally at the beginning they called it Lip Kits by Kylie Jenner, and then had to change the name because they realized that they wanted to do more types of makeup and expand. So tell me where they thought that they would have a Kylie 2.0 in Lip Kits by Kylie. Like, that just doesn't really make any sense to me. But fine, I think this literally is just a cover up for the lawsuit and like the Coty taking over Kylie, because they just didn't want to be like, yeah, we have to change formulas because like we're getting sued. So I think it was way easier to be like, we want to make things vegan, cruelty free, and yada yada yada, so we're just gonna like reformulate. This is all this is all my conspiracy theory. This isn't like the truth. I'm just saying like I think this is what it looks like, rather than like we always wanted a rebrand, you know? I don't know. She wants the brand to be clean and vegan along with cruelty free, which it already was. She went the whole Instagram, and it all had to be done manually one by one. You can't bulk delete Instagram pictures. So someone had to really sit there for like 2 days and just, I hope they get paid well. And then she posted that Polaroid picture. She talked about the industry before Kylie, which was quite different marketing wise. Like everything was very, which this is something I can agree with. I think Kylie definitely changed the marketing type. Before it was billboards and TV ads, and then it was Snapchat. Like she was just like, hey, here's my Snapchat, that's how I'm gonna market. Chris did talk about Kylie being born into privilege, which I kind of appreciate because it's been missed out of the conversation a lot, mainly in regards to her being a self-made billionaire. Like I think that conversation was lost, and I'm glad Chris brought it back. I'm not gonna do forever and always like always because you guys are probably bored. I'm gonna do coconut. Now we're at Kylie 2.0. Oh, this shade is really nice. I think I'm gonna end up putting this one into my project pan next. I wanna use up all my Kylie lip liners. Well, all of the old Kylie Cosmetics ones rather than the new ones, because I think they're gonna start getting moldy soon, so I want to use up all of them. So this one might be next on my list. I'm actually gonna use a liquid lipstick today. This is the Stacy and Kylie collab. Overall, I think Kylie 2.0 had a pretty good reception. I actually watched a few Kylie reviews before filming this video just to see what people thought about the new collection, and people are quite impressed with it. I actually am quite impressed. I bought a few products just purely based on recommendations. And I think her blushes are really good, her bronzer is really good. I think her face products, other than her highlighters, are really good. I think her eyeshadow palettes are very good for just everyday wear, but don't expect like crazy pigment. I just don't think that's where we're at, like as a beauty community anymore. Like we don't need like that, but I still think it works and I think it looks pretty. I think her eyeliners are a huge improvement. I think she's going down a more natural TikTok route, mainly with her recent launch of these like tube lip glosses and face balms. This is something that she would have never released in the past because she was always a very full coverage girly. The fact that she's doing this shows that she's trying to adapt and adjust to the new makeup climate, which is no makeup and like just, you know. I don't know if the new formula is less drying than the old formula. I think it's still just a liquid lipstick, but I think it's a little bit thinner maybe, so it's easier to blot it out like I just did. So I think there are a lot of improvements to her new makeup line compared to her old makeup line. Kylie Jenner is definitely trying to reach a new audience that is different from 2014 by releasing things like glosses and face tints. I think she's now realized that like her makeup line isn't just for herself. I think to this day, the criticism was that Kylie seems to be releasing makeup for herself and not makeup that like everyone else will enjoy. It's always just like, what does she want? And I feel like now that Coty has bought 51% of the company, they get to make some decisions. And I think they're telling her like, hey, start to release stuff that also other people like, even if you don't like it. So I think having that like shared ownership with a different brand and a more traditional makeup brand is pushing her to do things outside of her box and things that she necessarily doesn't want but has to release because that's what the public wants. So I think that's the difference between Kylie Cosmetics 1 and Kylie Cosmetics 2.0, is that 2.0 seems to be more geared towards the audience rather than herself. I think Kylie Cosmetics, well, I think Lip Kits by Kylie was a passion project for herself. Like she was like, I don't have lip liners and lipsticks that match, so I'm gonna launch some of my own. That was the privilege of her being rich and famous, was that if she was missing a product in her collection, she could just launch it herself. Be like, hey, I'm gonna go to a factory today and release makeup that I'm missing in my collection. And then it just so happened to take off. And I think that's how she continued doing her brand for a really long time, only releasing things that she would use and only releasing things that she would like. And then I think the moment it blew up and 51% of the brand went to Coty, I think she had to start behaving like a regular makeup brand and start releasing things that other people like and not just her. I think that's where her brand can go up again. But now here's the drawback that I'm going to talk about. Kylie is still the face of the brand, which at the time in 2014, 15, and 16 was a perk. It was a huge benefit. I think people wanted to look like Kylie. People wanted to be Kylie. People wanted to feel like Kylie. And people are going to do anything to do that, including paying like $20 for shipping and customs to get some liquid lipsticks that would maybe make them feel more like Kylie. Now, I think Kylie has a really bad ring to it. So her being the face of the brand isn't as beneficial as it used to be. I actually think at this point, it's kind of a con of the brand, which I would never think to say. You know, the cultural appropriation, climate change with the jet flying for 3 minutes, Travis Scott not realizing she's privileged and not self-made. I think all of that adds up to people not being very fond of Kylie, and that almost becoming a drawback to Kylie Cosmetics. I don't think it's to the same level that like KVD Beauty, Lime Crime, like I don't think it's to that extent, Jeffree Star Cosmetics, I don't think it's to that extent, but it's still not great. Like it isn't amazing. On the other hand, she still has a lot of followers. Any PR is good PR, I guess. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is now known as Kardashians, and she gets to further promote herself and the brand. So I guess there are some cons and pros and cons to her being the face of the brand, but I don't think it has the same impact to it as it did in the past. Now, I think the way she can save her brand is maybe become less face of the brand, like still be face of the brand, but less, make it about herself and make it more about the brand. Start leaning into trends and start being more on TikTok and trends on TikTok. The reason why I ended up buying her blushes, like the Winter Kiss and the Pink Power, was because people on TikTok were raving about them and it became almost a thing. I think just like the KVD Good Apple foundation, I think she needs to start leaning into her brand. I think her last thing was when she filmed her gloss video on TikTok and she went, besito, and people started like memeing it.
Okay, so my gloss strips launched. 2 shades already sold out, but this is the shade Besitos. Besitos, as Stormy would say. Okay, this shade is this sheer, gorgeous strawberry. Show you guys what it looks like. They also smell like candy, like you could eat them. This is actually my favorite shade in the collection. I love that it just gives you that natural, you know, like you just ate a little strawberry, it's summertime, you're going to the beach maybe. So pretty.
I think she should do more of like TikTok trends, and then maybe we'll see an uptick in Kylie Cosmetics. Also, people have been recently commenting under her TikToks saying that her TikToks remind them of the King Kylie on Snapchat era. So now I'm wondering, are we just gonna cycle back to the King Kylie idolizing Kylie Jenner era, or is her tone deafness, privilege, and weird behavior not gonna make that happen again? I don't know. You guys let me know. I think this has been a long video, but you guys let me know what you think. What would you do to improve the brand? How can it be improved? And do you think, can it be improved at this point? Like, can people be turned to like Kylie Cosmetics? I don't know. Subscribe to that bell, like, comment for engagement, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.